Yay! Good morning on July the 11th. Woo! Look at me, I'm up early. Good morning, Jade. Welcome to my Facebook page and everybody on it. I know a lot of people are excited to hear what you have to say this morning.
Good morning. Aloha.
Aloha. That's right. Where are you coming to us from?
I am coming to you physically in the Earth space from Ashland, Oregon.
Ashland, Oregon. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Perfect. I got a lot of friends that are originally from Ashland, Oregon. And so today we're going to talk about a lot of different things and have a conversation. What was really fantastic about Jade is she was talking about this gauntlet of growth, which we kind of knew was happening. It was coming up. But there is some levels to it. And I think I said this on my live yesterday, but I'm not sure if anybody really saw that because it was sideways because I recorded it, even though I have like a video background. But what I was really like talking about is like, we all need clearings. We're all trying to do clearings, but what Jade did for me, clearing out some victim stuff was remarkable. And I'll talk about that, like the experiences that I've had since then. It's been really fantastic. Uh-oh. That's
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
all right. All good.
All
And
good.
so we're going to talk today about what are these 5 planets and retrograde and what is this gauntlet of growth and what are we experiencing? And Jade's going to just guide us through that, and I'm going to ask her questions. So before I continue jabbering, why don't you just take a moment, Jade, and let everybody know about how you're the amazing, beautiful alchemist, empath, healer, all the yummy stuff that you do.
Oh, mahalo, Zan. Let's see. How am I that? That's a great question. We're innately born with a lot of gifts, and an empath was one that I was since I awoke in this life, and I want to say that's when I was born. And there's no ego in that. I had no clue I was awake until I was 33. And at that time, I still argued about it. And then it's still been a gauntlet of growth ever since. In fact, it's been a rapid 20-year gauntlet of growth because it's something I pay attention to every day. I grew up in northern Minnesota in a town of 300. So I had no clue I was an empath till I was about 11. And they took me to Minneapolis, St. Paul. And I wanted everyone's coat because I wanted to be protected. So there's the empath story, and that goes on. I didn't know what the word was until 2008, and then I had to learn to manage it. And one of the things about managing our natural sensitive gift, which is awake in the earth plane, by the way, for me, it's being on an M-powered path. Path.
I like that.
With the power in the middle that is ours. And that is awake in the lower energy centers. So awake in the body, on the earth. And that can be something else, especially right now. Now, yesterday was one of the most intense days I've experienced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was super intense. I did a massive facilitation with another facilitator until after midnight the night before. And it was just one of those days where you're like, wow, that was a lot of energy expansion, a lot of energy transmission, a lot of energy movement, because we're all moving through a lot of light right now.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of photon light and the what's happening with the Schumann resonance. Zan wanted to really talk a lot about astrology. Understand in this life, for astrology isn't the thing that I chose. Astrology is affecting all of us, so I do pay attention to a point. There are some master astrologers out there who can really dig you deep into it. I'm part of the cleanup crew, energetically.
Yes, you are.
And I'm
really good at it.
Mahalo. Well, and you're talking about clear, K-L-E-A-R.
Yes, K-L-A-R. I'm going to write that on there.
Which is all capitals. And when that came through on what my expanded self, which I've always called my team. For a long time, I called them they. People got really confused. I was 33 before I figured out everyone else didn't have a they. I thought everyone had a they that was active. Now, I believe everyone who is a light being here does have a they and has that access to their expandedness into a lot of it we label, right? We label that expandedness of self as we go into a more broadened view. I do my best to stay out of working in a, higher, because that's a hierarchy. So like, if some of the things that I've studied, a lot of things in this life, I've studied scientific based information. I'm a trainer of neurolinguistic programming.
Right.
I've studied the spiritual side of things, and the path I've walked down the longest and with the most intensity is the path of La'au Kahea, which is to make the call to your highest self, and the enlightenment path of the ancient Hawaiians. So that's where a lot of my basis comes out of. So I want to just let everybody know about that. I speak in all different things. I like to talk fast. People don't know that people from the North talk fast. I think it's maybe because it's cold up there. I did spend 20 years. There went the iPad. I did spend 20 years in Colorado. So I do know the Front Range and that energy very strongly. It was actually the energy that woke me up to pay attention.
That's funny. I love
yeah.
that. So, okay.
Let's play.
Yeah, let's play. And what's really like awesome right now is none of these things are working on the so I'm sorry, you guys. I'm gonna have to post this stuff in the Facebook because it's retrograde and none of this stuff is working. So
you're on Facebook. I've shared it from your Facebook page. So we're on Facebook somewhere.
Right, we're on somewhere, but I wanted to be able to post the stuff for you guys, but there we go. I'll just post it in here. Okay. So let's talk about what this clear, K-L-E-A-R. What is that? And it was a little confusing for me, but well, actually, we can talk about that, but we can also talk about, let's just talk about this Piscean shadow.
Okay.
And what really got my attention. So I'm going to tell a story real quick. So
please.
I, in my vulnerable state, had a breakdown on, I think it was Monday. I think Monday was my hardest day this week because the Schumann resonance was really high, and the energy, you told me that there was like some offshoot from the sun.
Yep.
And, as an empath, we feel that. And you're just spontaneously bursting into tears, and I have no idea why. I mean, and like stuff was coming up, so I know it's mine, right? But I'm also like, and I just heard Jade she was doing these, she does her talks, so please like her page, Jade Rehder, Rehder, and she's talking about this, maybe before you move into the full age of Aquarius, then you might have some remnants of the Pisces age. And she was talking about some archetypes, I think, or I'll let you talk about it. But the one that triggered me was the victim. And I don't like to be a victim. It's not like something that I'm choosing, but I definitely have aligned with it. And so I tuned into her and I said, okay, I need to listen to what she's saying. And so we talked in the morning because she offered a free assessment. And I might have a few of the archetypes. So we just did the victim one, which was amazing. Amazing. And so I got to experience what she does. And listen, you guys know I'm a healer junkie a little bit, and I have a lot of experience in and around the world, but Jade's work was impressive and immediate. So yesterday was, like you said, yesterday was intense for you. It was really a good day for me. Like
wonderful
stuff was just moving. Although I did lock my keys in my car. Yeah, so that was a little bit of a brain fart, but it was great because a boy came and got into my car, and then we went to dinner, and that was great. So it actually ended up working out really great for me. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was actually really cool. I was like, oh, I didn't know I was going to see you today, but yay. So I'm going to go back to you because I'll just keep like piping in and telling you guys about my experience with her work. But why don't you just kind of like let everybody know real quick what clear versus these archetypes, or
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about both.
Yeah.
So I'll just tap into clear just for a couple minutes, and then we'll go into what's going on with these energies is what and imprints is what I call them. But archetypes is another way to describe it. And it is like a persona that plays out on the planet. So I get where you're going with archetype on that. Absolutely, Zan. So for me, clear was a alignment of so many things that I had learned coming and what I naturally was doing coming into one way of facilitating transcendence. And so this is important to everyone. There's a difference between transformation, transmutation, and transcendence. Transcendence is alchemy. And I had worked part-time for years, had a big business back in Colorado that took a lot of energy. So it was something that I kept learning, and I kept working with, clients part-time, but it wasn't really my focus. In 2016, my bigger team said, you go to work now. Like this is your time. We're on. How many of you, raise your hand if you have been told, go, show up, step up, get out there, get your gifts in the world, Zan. I know you're one of them. Like, let's get this moving. We're all here together.
Oh, I just got like big chills as you're like big.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah, like we're here to make these huge differences in the world. And we're doing whatever we're doing and we'll talk about in the mindset, we talk about self-sabotage. We talk about that. I'm an emotion set girl. I have 4 planets in Pisces, a moon in Aries, which means I can be a drama queen to the nth degree. So if I can get my field in a place where I can be in neutral the vast majority of the time, I would tell you anyone can. Yeah. So in October 2016, I had been for the summer playing with an alchemist on Mount Shasta. That sounds kind of wacky, but him and I would get together and we would start, doing energy things. We were putting our fingertips on the back of certain points on the back of our skull, and our fingertips would get so hot, and it was making some transcendent energies within the field. And we'd both be like, what's our fingers? Well, it's at 380 degrees. And I'm like, we can't teach people this. Some people don't believe, that their fingers aren't, very little matter and mostly energy, right? Like they actually believe they're solid. We can't teach them something that's 380 degrees. So he comes to me in October and he says, I know how to get rid of our ego. And I'm like, great, tell me how. Because for me, just the patterning and the ego stays just by the way we're human beings.
Right.
Our conscious mind, personality, however you're describing the ego. What I wanted gone were the conditions, the pattern, the imprints, the overlays, and I could keep going with words, but everything that was affecting me from really being the brightest light I am, and from sharing from my heart, and from living everything I learn and everything I remember.
Right.
So how many of us have learned it?
Yeah. So for the layman, if you're not, in the space that we are, those are old programming that comes not only from this lifetime, for other lifetimes. And right now, if I'm correct, we're kind of in this culmination where we're releasing the core, right? The energy from the center, that stuff that's been there for a long time, stuff that really doesn't need to be there anymore, because we need to get to the 5th dimension, right? And in order to experience and receive all the guidance, wisdom, and everything we need, we have to clear this stuff. So a lot of this is coming up. So what happens if we don't work with somebody like yourself? We have to then process that with our bodies. And let's say, like, you could break your hand, which I've got a little pinky action here. It's happening. It's getting better. So for those of you who don't know, I broke my hand for a month, 30 days exactly. But we don't want that, right? So
right, we don't want to have the physical reminders.
No, we don't.
And you mentioned a word that I want to shine a light on. Clear has no processing.
Yes.
Wait, did I just say you don't have to think about it? You don't have to figure it out, and you also don't have to feel through it. So there's no spiritual bypassing taking place either. This is important, because those of you who've been on a path for a long time, you're like, wait a minute, there's spiritual bypassing over there, girl. No spiritual bypassing. We're transcending the energy with your highest consciousness. And the clear channel brings a huge conduit of energy with it. The KLEAR each stands for a huge collective of higher conscious streaming energy. And a lot of them all of them, if I hung my shingle out that way, you would recognize, but that isn't what the energy wants. The energy wants to be called clear, K-L-E-A-R. So the alchemist told me, right, that we were going to transcend ego. He told me to wait 4 days. He has a journey of information that's longer than mine. My journey into information is the speed of creation at this point. So you tell me, I go. It took me in 20 minutes. I did it. It was super powerful. We used an energy that he had shared with me that we were working with. When I met him back in March of 2016, I heard, he will bring you something you bring out into the world. So here I am. I've done this. It has been very visceral for me, the work that I did that day, because it was all those programs, right?
Yeah.
That my ego was running. And I'm non-ego free, people. Ego still exists over here.
Yeah.
I've just transcended a ton of patterns, conditions, and programs. And it was so different for me that it took me some recalibration time. So I go gentler on others. We don't go for the whole ego at once.
Yeah.
So this brings us to the Piscean pattern.
Yeah.
The shadow of the Pisces. So every astrology will now tell you we're in the age of Aquarius. Every one of them finally. Woo, woo. Some say since 1957. I mean, it's been a long journey for everyone to say.
Right. And we're like pulling people. Come over to the age of Aquarius. We're so excited.
Yeah, you got an Aquarian interviewing a Pisces. So that makes sun signs, personality.
Right? Look at that.
We're so much more than that. But the sun sign personality, we do, that's one thing to pay attention to. We make ourselves be just our sun sign. Whoops.
Right.
We are so much more than our sun sign. And if this isn't something familiar to you, there's a ton of absolutely outstanding astrologers out there. You can get a lot of the basic information online. But if you really want to understand your chart, I would get to an astrologer personally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because they look at what's affecting what and how it flows through. So this Piscean shadow. Oh, the shadow of each of the zodiac signs has a shadow. Pisces is the one that's really up for transcendence, to really change the state of the energy so it isn't here affecting. The shadow of the Pisces, the victim, the hero, the martyr, and the savior.
There we go.
Now, if you're an empath, those all hit you, because more than likely, at least 3 of them you're running real strong.
Yep. For sure, right?
Yeah, a lot of us don't consider that we do hero until you go, who do people ask to save the day? Oh, yeah. And how do people see you? Not necessarily how but you show up, and these all work together.
Right.
And they play into each other, and they are, what's so exciting for me is when Zan and I did a private clear on victim. It was the first time she'd ever experienced the modality. And I always look at the energy of the planet. Can it allow us to do this level of transcendence? How many programs are running when we do victim, right? So what I adore about transcendence, about changing the state, like taking the lead that victim is put into your field, thoughts, emotions, behaviors, all of these patterns and programs, right? And transcending them, you're transcending thousands, and if not hundreds of thousands of patterns and energies at one time. You don't have to go in and find everything by name, okay? Transcendence, changing the lead into gold, changing that energy that's affecting your life in a negative, hurtful, and harmful way into your highest consciousness.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that. So, when Jade did this for me and with me, it's like I was aware of those energies, but I just didn't really know how to kind of move through them. And I felt it, right? So I had a big release in the beginning, and it was great because it's kind of like a meditation. So she's talking and your eyes are closed and we're looking at each other on the computer like this, but you're kind of experiencing it. And she was like, okay, now really be into the who you are, the expansion of who you are. And I felt like I was 5 universes large. I finally was like, oh, this is who I am. And we can get so stuck in the humanness I mean, I've done a lot of work, but that was really like profound for me, was to feel like the expansiveness of it and to release it, because that's just so limiting. Those the victim and the savior and the hero and the martyr, right? That's not supporting us. And it's a thing, you guys, like we all can have it unless you're doing the work all the time. You probably have it. And so it's really great. And I want to add real quick. So Pisces to Aquarius, for those that don't really understand what that means, it's like thousands of years, right, Jade?
It's a couple thousand, 2,100 or so, depending upon whose numbers you're looking at.
Right. So the planet is like rotating in the energy of Pisces, and then it moves into the age of Aquarius. And
Which
next,
is warring. Okay,
yeah.
let's just Piscean. It's warring. It shows two different sides.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be. I'm just going to let you all know this. There's a oneness thing that comes in with the Piscean age that can actually be a deficit. Let me explain. It's when we become complacent and then we become over caring. And there are beautiful things about the Piscean age. There's a lot of assistance. I'm working on my words. I'm always up octaving my words. So I'm working on words that bring us into a more expanded resonance. And so there's beautiful things about the Piscean age, but this separation that happens because of this victim, martyr, savior, hero. And people are like, well, I'm helping another person, when you're doing that to your own deficit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, when you think of it, it's the epitome of codependency when it's out of harmony.
Right.
I wrote that in copy yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's exactly. And I have resigned from codependency, and it's still a journey of seeing when you're over othering, we'll call it.
Right.
Over othering. And the thing about the Aquarian age is you're okay to be yourself.
Yeah.
And who you are, where you are, what you are. And then you mentioned how you felt really expanded when we awakened that. And that's my favorite part of clear. Clear isn't just about clearing. Clear is about awakening. If I could just awaken and leave everything else, I'd do it. But we got to move it so that we're resonating, we're vibrating in a higher capacity of the yummy energies of the world. The enjoyable energies are our birthright. We tend to spend those and store the painful ones because we don't want to deal with them.
Ridiculous.
And some people will feel this in their body, others won't, because it's a multi-dimensional transcendent experience. So we're well outside the earth plane and all the dimensions or densities of earth. We're working out past that, through it, and past it. And that's what you were experiencing, is that it had been cleared out there, and then you went and noticed, oh, I am this. This is me. Wow, how cool is that? And it's a way that there's no place for things to hide, because we go into it specifically, and then we expand it out to complete ambiguity. And you mentioned how it's like a meditation. My voice is a transcender. Some of you are feeling that just listening.
Oh,
yeah. This is so much more than the personality of Jade Rehder sitting here in Ashland, Oregon. I'm a conscious channel. Many of us are here. In fact, when I was getting ready this morning, I heard, let them know how many of them might want to just check in and notice that they're consciously channeling often. Also, if you're a conscious channel, you may have went through some real major stuff at the back of your occipital, where people will call your causal chakra. I call it your occipital chakra. If you're going to call it a chakra, in fact, I prefer to call it a center. And what happens is when this comes through, people will be like, that was profound. And you're like, what did I say? Just, oh, by the way, you're channeling. Because what did I say? Was it good? Did you record it? Did you write it down? Because you don't have a conscious memory of it, because it wasn't you talking. It was your expandedness talking.
Right.
So, this shadow shuts those kind of things down.
Okay.
The shadow shuts down your natural gifts. Shadow shuts you down from your dreams. As a massive Neptune birth chart holder in my personality, I'm also a Neptunian creator. So I'm one of the things I really adore is for people to see and live their dream.
Oh my gosh.
Because how many of us have cleared thoughts and emotions, worked on our mindset,
Right.
went maybe through therapy or other modalities to heal the emotional side of us? We've got to get it into our heart so we can live it.
Yeah. So I just want to like pipe in on this level because she's so fun. Oh my gosh, you guys, she's so fun to play with. And like she's talking right now because it's early morning, but she's hilarious and super fun to experience. So I want to talk about these moving through these, like what's the benefit of somebody to, so what we're going to do at the end of this is we're going to talk about how I've asked Jade to help my friends, and we're going to do some group clearings on all these different, what do you call them? I don't know.
It's the shadow aspects.
Shadow aspects. Okay, we're going to clear them in like 4 different sessions as a group for you guys, because this gauntlet of growth, right? This is with the eclipses and the 5 retrogrades, like we could use all the help we can get. And so I just want to like say to that point that one of my favorite parts of the experience was we cleared it, right? We know this. We clear it and then we process it and blah, blah, blah. And Jade was like, no, we're going to just transcend it. And then we're going to open the field to what it is that you want to put in the field. And I even have it like written down here. So we wanted to increase and wake up the energy of, for me, it was joy and happiness and prosperity and grace and gratitude. And so we dropped those in the field, and it was like this wildfire of growth. I could see it. It was just, plants and grass and everything was growing. And then my favorite part is that she said that when you're done, it's now in your field and you can turn up the volume. Listen to me, this is the best part ever. Turn up the volume of what it is that you want. So yesterday I had a situation where like $200 left in my account and I don't know how it's coming back, and that's a bummer. And instead of really reacting from the victim, like, oh my God, this happened to me, this is like, right? I was like, okay, let's just turn up the volume of prosperity. Let's turn it up. So yesterday I had a friend I haven't talked to in a long time, and he's so sweet. I love him so much. His name is Chad. And he just was like, I'm sending you some money. And then I have another friend, Gina, who's so awesome, and I work with her. And she brought me a client. And the client, now I'm building a website, and he just paid me. And now I'm like honestly, like I had asked for a certain amount of money that I needed by Friday, and it showed up in my account last night. Jade, turn up the volume on prosperity. Okay, so it's a real deal awesomeness, you guys. And I just wanted to like share that if that's happening just with the victim, like what's going to happen if we do all of them? So are we like, is it like we're set now? We're like ready to go. Like, here we go. I'm ready to go in Aquarian age. Like, right?
Well, if you consider the energies of those 4 things, and the 3 of them, we played martyr, right?
Yeah.
Like my trainer, Brian Buffini, his mom used to say, get off the cross, we need the wood. Yeah. Like, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And it was with an Irish brogue. And if I could do it with an Irish brogue, I would. But Irish brogue isn't me. And we savior. We're going to go and we're going to save that person. Mm-hmm. At 19, I remember my ego saying, you can change him. When I was marrying a guy I knew better than to marry. Like, I can save him. I will change him. I was like, I got this. And it's like, whoa, that's the universal handy person. And ladies, most of us are wearing handy woman belts full of things to fix everyone around us. Everyone is whole. We're all whole. Yeah. We've just got compartments that we've turned down or turned off. I mean, or we've maybe fractured. There's lots of things we could talk about. But you are whole. You are whole. As you are whole. It just may not feel that way. And that's that processing energies. We have sympathetic nervous systems in our third eye center and in our throat center. This is a verbal and mental processing loop, right?
Right.
And then we have our feeling and power loops in our second and third centers. So our solar plexus and sacrum, we're in this feeling and power loop. Let's put them together. Our thought, feeling, power, and auditory processing loops, right? How many people have been doing this for more than 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25, 35, 45? Yeah, we can go into auctioneer here. There have been people who have been at this for 60 and 70 years.
Right.
And they're still doing it.
Yeah.
And what's so cool about transcendence, what's so amazing about alchemy, is you move out the chaos and the programming so that you can see what it had to teach you, what you were here to learn from it, what is there for you. So when I tell you in a clear, in the next 3 days to 3 weeks, what is for you to comprehend will come to you with ease and grace. Gently, gently, gently.
That's what we need, the gently.
That we need that gently, especially in this eclipse. We've got 5 planets retrograde right now. Wait for it. Uranus goes in August. We'll have 6.
Oh.
So with these, and just by the way, retrograde means that from Earth, so when you consider your expanded self, things are non-retrograde. From Earth, they're going backwards. They're really not as a planet.
Okay.
Going backwards. It's our perspective. And let's tap onto that for a second. Thank you, Renee LeBeau, for bringing to me that the re that we keep using in our language is keeping us in a loop.
Right.
Now, that's actually a huge mic drop moment if people let that sink in. Consider relaxing. You're continually having to lax. Okay?
Right.
How about you mellow? You chill.
Right.
You breathe. Totally different energy comes into your field.
Mm-hmm.
So when everyone tells you during a retrograde to everything, is that program? And I'm sure it was the best whatever someone knew at the time that brought it into our awareness as a collective. So I'm just upping the octave from what I've learned to, if we release the like I used to talk about recalibrating, you are calibrating, right. You are aligning, you are associating into your new vibe.
Yeah.
Totally.
You can feel that like energetically when you say that, when you say recalibrating versus like calibrating, right?
Yeah. Even calibrating goes like this.
Like
the other one brings you in, and it's like,
right.
So how many of us have been in the loop and you're like, I am sick and tired of this coming up over and over? Zan, I know you were there with how that personification of the victim energy would play through.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at codependency, and by no means am I a therapist with letters behind my name, none of that I do. I just look at energy, and it's victim, rescuer, persecutor, okay? And if you're doing any of these, this Piscean shadow is playing out because of the behavior patterns that you're choosing to still engage with. Now, someone is over there right now. I can feel more than one person saying, I don't choose, it just happens. That is in our DNA. That is in our memory banks, right? That is in this. When we transcend this stuff with clear, we're taking that and we're changing its structure into your highest consciousness, transcending it, making that lead into gold. You're working on you. I create the space for your lineage to work on itself and the collective that you're connected to work on itself. So depending upon how you look at it, some people call that your oversoul. Yeah. So know that you're doing the work for you, yet you're doing the work for so much more than you. Any of you who have really worked in the deep transcendent modalities of any kind, you know that you're affecting those around you. My mom, a couple times has called me and says, you must be working deep on yourself, honey, your dad's changing.
Yeah.
And these are my parents who are now in their 8th decade of life experience here. And they're so funny because from the parents that I remember, they're so different. But are they different? Am I different, or are we all different? I would go for we're all different, right?
Yeah. Well, and then there's the thought process of like, when so sometimes I'll do like clearings with people, and it's like I just say for the next 3 to 6 weeks, like your energy field is going to change, and so is everybody that's in your pod, right? Like that, because when you do work on yourself, you're doing it for also the collective, right? Which is your oversoul. What I love about what you were saying is that yes, you're doing it with the ancestral lineage, which is like, yeah, because when you talk about the victim and the rescuer and the perpetrator, we've already been all that, right? We've already done all that. And so that's where the Aquarian age comes in, because it's time to transcend that and to create the new. Like Aquarians, if you guys don't know us, we're fun. We're the second childhood, and we're here to usher in new possibility. Like we're the ones that are like, come on, let's make change. Let's grow. Let's expand. Let's try this. Let's do this. This is super fun. We want everybody to play in that field instead of this whole, drawn down energy, which the Pisces can be a little intense. That is what it is. Like,
well, intense, serious. I mean, what I adore about the Aquarian energy is the wonder.
Yeah.
Like beyond curiosity. Curiosity for me brings me into my head. Wonder brings me into my body.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings me into living from that place. So I wonder what could happen. I wonder what would be different. So you said, Jade, what can happen? I wonder what can happen for people when they allow themselves to transcend this entire shadow energy. What's cool about what we're going to do, Zan, is when we do these, that people will have the recordings, because some people's energy field must unfold with more listenings to have that ease and grace on them, right?
Yeah, right.
So if someone is like, oh my gosh, my whole family's been a victim my entire life, I'm afraid what will happen to me if all that energy leaves. There have been people who told me, I don't know who I am without this. Okay. This is why we wake up, Yummy Stuff, and in the group, we'll wake up energies that I read are the highest and best of the whole group. So they'll be, there's always good stuff. It's all good stuff. But safe, secure, supported, those kind of things.
Put those in there.
How many people have ever awoken feeling safe inside their whole field?
Right.
All the way to the multiverse and beyond. Like, feel that.
I feel that.
Yeah. And it's one of those magical abilities that we do have that isn't usually talked about. We talk about cleaning up. I want everyone to know that when we clear and we transcend those things that are time to clean up, we awaken. We awaken more and more. If someone was to say, Jade, what are you here for? Light and awakening. I mean, those are the things that juice me up, because people's always like, what brings you joy? Watching someone awaken into who they are. This is all an inside job, everyone. I am a guide. Magical tour guide is one of my favorite handles I've ever used in my life. Yeah. Life coach, I think it says out there right now. Because people are like, my parents feel comfortable calling me a life coach, right? Yeah. And I'm like, LIGHT. I'm a light coach. Right. But if you hear life, that's what you hear. Our life is light for me.
So giving the visual of a tree with all its rungs, and I've actually been told this before. So it's like, we have, I think Joe Dispenza's work actually talks about this, where it's, you have the rungs, and then in it you have all these little dots, if you can imagine, of your tragedy and of your drama and of all the past stuff, right? Yeah. And so when you're talking about what you're doing, I feel like you're kind of clearing some of those and transcending and alchemizing those areas so that you can be free to move about the cabin.
Well, and when you consider, if you take out the dirty laundry and you put in clean, bright light, how different do you feel? I mean, a lot of us carry around enough suitcases that we should have a train of baggage.
Yeah.
And we don't understand why we, I just I can't keep myself, in a place where I'm attracting what I want when we talk about, natural law, right? I'm not resonating with that. My vibration isn't on the same frequency. I can't tune my radio station. We could use all these different analogies. I do want everyone to know that you actually are going to have times where things aren't all bright and sunshine in your life, so that you can notice the times where bright and sunshine are happening.
Yeah. And
I have
that,
a sweetheart, and that's one of the things he's taught me is he's like, sweetie, if it was all roses and gold sparkles every single minute of every day, you would become complacent with roses and gold sparkles. And it's true. I mean, it wasn't quite that, but I was yelling a couple of years ago at my team, where's the magic? And my youngest daughter,
team.
yeah, my youngest daughter comes over and goes and spent a few days with me when I was living in Hawaii. And she's like, Mom, it's so magical to be around you. And I'm like, I'm complaining there's no magic, and the kid is totally experiencing magic. And
Right.
it's just in daily life, everyone. This may be that a triple rainbow showed up, right? And we get complacent. And when we waken these things up, it allows us to share that energy, that lovely, beautiful, awakened energy. You can see it in Zan's field, right? Like you can see happiness, joy, and bliss. I see it.
Well, what I want to say to that is, and sorry that my internet is not catching up, but the last week it's been really sensitive. Like little things have been setting me off. I mean, like, how stupid is this? Like my hair, it's just like shedding and it's like touching my skin and I get really irritated by it, right? My biggest pet peeve is my own hair. And so, but that's just highlighting how sensitive I am. And since you're clearing, it's almost like there's no loop to go back into. Like it happens and then I'm kind of like, oh, okay. Like it just doesn't like lock in the way it used to. And the locking in is what I think gets us really stuck, because then we get focused on that and then we get sidetracked and then our energy's into that and we're not actually like allowing. So there's just been so much more allowing space, and like a lot of joy showed up for me yesterday. Like a lot of like grace and ease and joy. Like I locked my keys in my car. That's really stressful because I called and it was like $75, which at this time is not, I'm not flowing yet, turning prosperity up, but it's not there yet, right? So I didn't want to spend $75. And, I texted this guy and it was great because then he came and then I got to experience him being my hero and helping me. Like it's very like show. And it's funny because he's Aquarius too, which is really great. Like two Aquarians, like yay. And so that whole thing was just, okay, he fixed it and it was great and it worked out. And I thought, wow, this is really cool. Like, this is like, I like this. If this is this place that I'm going to be in right now, like, yay, let's keep doing this. So
and you just talked about, instead of going into my keys are locked in the car or, oh, poor me, you went into action. So so awareness, acknowledgement, alchemy, action. Feel it?
Yeah.
So the awareness that we have this shadow to transcend, acknowledging that it's playing in your field, everyone. If you've been working for a really long time, these are probably super playing in your field in the background because you've been helping others. Because this is what happens is we go into this.
That's a good point.
Yep. And then then it's time to alchemize. This is where it is. Whether you have another way of alchemizing it, or you join Zan and I for the Pisces Shadow Clear series, alchemize it. And after it's alchemized, take that action. Take the action. So you're talking a lot about the neutrality that comes with this being, because when you can be in that place of neutrality, or you like you said, the hair hits your arm, you're like, instead of like, oh, and I get it because sensitivity has turned up so much. Scent, feeling body. People who had turned their feeling bodies fully off are now massively dealing with the feeling body reactivation that has been happening, the Schumann resonance, which is the soup we walk in, the electromagnetic measurement of what's happening from the earth, from the light coming from the sun. To simplify this, there's way more scientific. All you scientists, thank you so much for how you can explain it. We walk in an energetic electromagnetic soup, and when it turns up higher, we feel it. And yesterday it had to be up again because of the way I was feeling, and I wasn't even in the mood to take a look at how it was. Today we're 7/11/2019. We're in an 11-day, which is mastering the light awakener in you. I've moved my word from light worker to light awakener. Feel the difference. Who wants to work? Let's awaken. Let's have a good time at this. And it's cute because over there it says it's 6:55. I love my repeating numbers. My birth path is an 11. So today, on the 11th day, the energy of the entire day is an 11. And this is about mastering your awakening. This is about stepping into that connection to your greater self in a bigger way. And that's what clearing out this shadow is going to do too. You ask, what is clearing out that shadow going to do? It's going to let you remember more and more of who you are, access the gifts that you already have in a more spacious and usable way. It is going to take out those saboteurs. We have so many mental programmed saboteurs. This is a collective thing, everyone. You don't have to, there's no blame, there's no shame, there's no judgment. This is in the collective. Like we talk about walking in the energetic soup of the Schumann resonance on the planet, we walk in the soup of the energy of the collective programs. Now, yes, some people are feeding them, some groups are feeding them. We could go into all that side of it. No need. Let's transcend these energies. Let's change their state in your field so that you're in a place of navigating from your heart, from what's truth for you, your essence, all of that yummy stuff that is truly here for us.
So let's just take, since it's like 7:53, and I really have no idea if people are watching this or not because my B-Lab is not working very well today, but whatever, they'll watch the recording later. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what fun stuff you're going to be able to do. And because I was super excited to connect with Jade because I already knew that she was awesome, but like after I experienced her, and you guys know, I like to talk about my experiences, and it was just, I've done a lot of work, and it was really, really profound, and it was like that. So she's going to do something for you, my friends, and I want her to share that with you guys, and I really want you to think about it. And you don't have to do all of them, but maybe align with one or two of them, and she's going to make them affordable for us because normally she charges $222 for a clear session, which is absolutely 100% worth it. But she's going to do a little private yay for my friends. And so can you share that with them so that...
Absolutely. So we're going to do a series of clears. If you want the shadow transcended, please do all four. Yet if it isn't something that works right now, that's why we're doing them individually. So we're going to start next Tuesday. It's going to be Tuesday, Thursday, because before the Lionsgate on 8/8, we want this stuff gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. How many people have ran that gauntlet of the Lionsgate and had like 4 or 5 days of, I'm having visceral memory of 2016 when I walked in the door, looked at my sweetheart and said, stay away from me for the next 72 hours. Everything that is unjust on the planet is up inside me. And this lion over here and is going to come off and be ballistic, because we go into the energy of that zodiac sign and its expression when we're in it. Now, right now we're in Cancer. Everybody's feeling. Mm-hmm. We're feeling deeply. We've got massive Saturn energy influencing that. We've got huge opportunity for our dreams. There's a big Neptunian influence. Like, we've got all of this great stuff here for us. Let's get access to it. So starting next Tuesday here, I even grabbed the calendar so that myself could see days in front of me.
Yeah. And I'll put all this in the comments below so that you guys can just like link up with that.
Yeah. And there's a single page that gives you more information in writing. So those of you who like to read it, and it's tough to keep up with our words because we speak fast. So Tuesday, July 16th at 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific, which would make it 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 8 o'clock in the middle. How's that? Let's just do that, not even be straight across. We're going to do the first one we're going to do is the shadow of victim.
Okay.
Hang on the full moon lunar eclipse.
Oh, yeah. Tuesday. Okay, perfect.
On the full moon, feel that? On the full moon lunar eclipse. What level of impact could we make in the world?
Ooh.
By a group of us coming together, transcending the victim programming on the full moon lunar eclipse. And notice what that does to the feminine energy.
Mm.
When I saw the date and I looked at my calendar and looked at everything, I was like, of course, right? Hashtag of course. And it's so beautiful to have that support. And if you join us for the first one, they're $44 each, or $144 if you want to do the series of 4.
Yeah, which is the killer.
And by the way, it's $36, which is the number of the universe. In this lifetime, I chose numerologist over astrologist.
Yeah. Can you just tap on that for people who don't understand what because
sure.
I use those numbers, and a lot of us know that, but just in case somebody wants to, like,
so,
what are you talking about?
Well, the reason I chose 144 is there are a lot of lineages that tell us 144 people, 144, they call it warriors. I'll call it light messengers. 144. I had to move out of warrior. I was fighting things. When you fight things, they come back. That's Piscean. A light messenger is much more Aquarian, isn't it?
Yes, light messenger.
Yeah. Light messengers, light awakeners, 144,000 light awakeners with their shields balanced. By the way, in my lineage in ancient Hawaiian, we call that with our elements balanced and our masculine and feminine balanced. Come to the earth in her time of need to teach the teachers. So everyone here is a teacher of some kind. And there are some master teachers here to support everyone in learning what we're learning to raise the consciousness of this planet so that we can all live in that higher conscious state, which many call the fifth dimension. Now, we can be fifth dimensional consciousness, yet the whole collective right now is still in the third, fourth dimension of experience.
Yeah.
So and these are all just measures that we've put on from a human being perspective, right? So the nuts and bolts of this is the next 2 Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to do a clear as a group. And that's where you get a great value. That 144 is taking us into that realm of a huge amount of energy that wants us to be here to change the vibration of the planet, right? 36 being the number of the universe. If you've ever looked at Nikola Tesla's work, you'll see 369. 3 and 6 added together is 9. We could go on for days about that. 3, creativity, expression, and joy. It's the year that we're in. 2019 is a 3-year. 6 is the energy of the womb, of the nurturing of harmony.
Oh, nice.
And I've moved away from balance. I've moved into harmony. Libra energy is a balancing energy, right? Where a Aquarian energy is a harmonic energy. If you feel into an Aquarian energy, it's a very harmonic energy. And that's what we're actually all asking to be participating in. I also have it available privately if someone isn't a group person, and that information is right there too. And that is actually half price. It's $333 for those 4.
Okay, so let's just do the order real quick. So we're going to do the victim first.
We're going to do victim on Tuesday, the 16th.
Okay.
And we're going to do hero on Thursday, the 18th.
Okay.
Hero is the sneaky one. Hero is the sneaky energy. And because of what is really running back in there, it people think about it being savior, but it's more where there's more going on than that. So hero has got more to it than this is the one when I look at the energy that people are going to be like, I don't need hero. And if you really want to transcend it in your life, do all three, please, or all four. Because the three alone are more than if you just do the four. So it's kind of like heroes there for just about free.
Yeah.
On the 23rd, we're going to do martyr.
Okay.
And on the 25th, we're going to do savior. And that's the one that runs the strongest. The Piscean age is the age of the Christ. Okay, so that Christian overlay, respecting everyone's path wherever it is. There is a huge overlay though that affects us, and that's more of we're being saved from outside in instead of inside out.
Exactly.
If you actually, I was raised Catholic, so if you actually go into it and go, the light inside me, doing the work inside me, walking the path of the Christ, that is right there in Christianity. It's just sometimes there are rules and regs that are put in place. At 5, I was asking questions.
Yeah, I was asking questions too. It didn't fit in the box.
I didn't fit in. Yeah, boxes and I. That's what I love about Clear. Right now we're getting close to the 40th generation of it, and it's about a little over 2.5 years old. It keeps evolving. What's cool about Clear is as it evolves, the recordings that were done in the past continue to evolve. And people have given me visuals that were not there when I recorded it, that I put in, because I do a lot of stuff without talking about it.
Right.
And they're seeing it in something that was recorded a year and a half prior.
That's cool.
Because there is no time.
Well, of course. Yeah. And I would invite anybody who's of Jade's following who has experienced this. Could you guys maybe give us some testimonials in the comments of this section, or how the Claire has really helped you? I know Kathy Mason's going to pipe in. I hope that she writes something, but anyone else that's worked with Jade, because it really helps us to hear and see what other people are experiencing. And that's, kind of my direction in this is really, you guys, I'm an open book, so people know who I am and what's going on with me. But it's really great to hear how it's really helped other people. And it's just a great tool. It's really an amazing tool. And I feel like, okay, so once we clear all that, right? So do we get a cape? What happens then?
Well, you're your master co-creator. So what I see is you've got a lot more room for creativity, a lot more room for connection. And you've got some space, because did you notice the space in your head?
Unbelievable.
Right away.
Unbelievable.
For a lot of people, the monkey mind is going to turn itself down so much because the monkey mind is being fed by victim, especially.
Yep.
And savior, thinking about what am I going to do for the world, for everyone. By no means is any of this going to take away all of us going out and making a difference. This is actually going to enhance it. And then this is the first time I've ever offered this like this. This hasn't been offered. In fact, the energies of the collective weren't really there to have it being done in a group yet. And we are there in this eclipse window, especially. Yeah. I mean, we are like the ripest, beautifulest cherries on the tree, ready to be picked so that we can get the pits out and we can enjoy it.
And it creates more possibility, right? So
huge possibility. I want to say that's even one of your awakening words was possibility.
Right. So it's like the we all know that the bucket, once the bucket gets empty, right, which is when it can be filled up. But this is really, it allows it even more. And that was one of the possibilities, turn up some more possibilities. We had dropped possibilities in my field. And so I suppose that if we want to give Jade, so whoever's in the group, we can give her what we want to drop in, so we could collectively kind of popcorn in what we want to drop.
We'll do that. Yeah. And all of them may not get spoken out loud yet. They'll all be there because we awaken all the enjoyable energy. So absolutely. Yeah. We'll be able to popcorn in beforehand and really set up that awakening vibe so that when the certain words come through, because that's what happens. I'm not thinking, it's channeling through. So yeah.
Yay. Oh, I'm really excited for this.
I
Yay.
am too. I am too. There is the Hawaiian way of bringing in the light awakeners awarenesses that wants me to share it. Would that be okay? It's a pule. It's more of
Please.
a prayer than it is a chant, but it's e io ana o luna, e pi ana o lalo, e hui ana na moku, e ku ana kapaia. Mm,
That's nice.
yeah, it's as above, so below, and so much more than that. And I want to thank my kumu Maggie Connor and the lineage of La'aukahea from Hawaii Ko Aloha for all that that brings. Because living aloha, when I first stepped on that path, um, the first day I heard you're here to be aloha, and I made my oldest email that I still check is called Being Aloha, and it's because like we're all here to be that blooming flower of graciousness and pure love and connection. So for me, aloha is the higher octave of a oneness, right? In that vibe of that deliciousness that we are. So afterwards, everyone will have more access to their dream from where I sit. That the Neptunian me says, dream on, dream
Yeah.
on.
Well, I just want to add, since this show is going to be aired on the Sacred Side of Business, which is, it's a little bit of a brand that I created locally, but also globally, because there obviously is the sacred side of business. So this will help you because you're a conduit to your business, right? So you're the one that's sharing. So by you clearing your pathways, your connection to your business will allow way more possibility to come in as well. So if you're getting a little bit stuck, you're maybe not getting flow, there has been some talk right now that the abundance has kind of been shut down and some people are not experiencing it, the flow that they need. This will, is that true?
Yeah. I mean, all of those energies vastly influence our ability to call to Kahea, to bring it in, right?
Yeah.
To call it in. And if you're out there vibing victim or savior, it's at a different resonance than where we're at. We talked about this a little bit, Zan. We used to be able to just kind of demand something. It doesn't work like that anymore. Not as the consciousness is raised, demanding is again a Piscean energy, right? Boom, I'm going to put down my trident and we're going to make this baby work. Now it's like, I'm going to put down my trident. How can we make this work? Let's make this work together. There is more of what to me is the flower child 60s energy. It comes to you in a different way than the push. It's more the flow.
Right.
It's if we're going to give masculine and feminine, it's more the feminine.
Right. What else is
here? Energies in the way, these push energies in the way, transcend them. Yeah.
Well, that is also, I think it's a me thing, but it could be an Aquarian thing too, is we like to just go get things done. We just we default to, I'm just going to go make it happen. But the work, right? The transcendence of it is to be the energy so that things come to you, so that they attract to you, so you're not really working. I mean, that is actually my protocol for all of my life. It's how can I like to equate my life as chutes and ladders. It's how can I get to the top of the ladder as fast as possible so that I can just be in the flow? And that's really what's coming up, which is I've been clearing for a couple years now, a lot of shit. And because I just really want to be this exciting energy, right? So creating Shop Grazie. Most of you know that I'm creating an amazing, authentic social commerce platform that's going to allow people to make money sharing the value match brands that they already love. And I've had to push to get it done, but also it's the attraction part of it, having people show up and say yes to playing in my game with me, because I really want to create a better place for everybody. So, because that's the Aquarian thing, we like to do that.
Yeah. Play together and more play.
More play.
More play. What do you have on the other side? You're going to have more play. You're going to be in a place where you feel like it's okay to play. Because that was something that wasn't okay. We
Right.
had to be serious. We had to get everything done, and everything was hard. And
Yeah.
that's the piece that we're all asking to be on the other side of. And that's the being piece. When it comes from a being place, the hard goes away.
Yeah. That's actually really funny. If you guys haven't watched Wanda Sykes' Netflix special, she's hilarious. And she talks about that. She's like, Americans are always like, don't you play around over there, right? She's like, we have this like programming with the kids, like, what are you playing around over there? Like, don't you? So she was, because she's married to a French woman, and the French woman's like, oh, go let them play. Everything's about play. And Wanda Sykes is like, no, we're all about work, get it done, like make it happen. And it's really funny how she talks about it. She's just like, she was getting mad because her son kicked a balloon in her face. And she was like, what is happening? Why are you doing this? And her wife was like, he kicked a balloon in your face, you know, because she was like, and he kicked a balloon in, I haven't had my coffee yet. That's what she said. She realized that she was like getting upset, this 5-year-old, for playing, right?
Was playing. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it has been kind of, right, because the generations have shifted, and play has not necessarily been embraced as, you know, something that,
well,
the play for me is the magic golden path. Like, the more you play, the more you can receive. That's how I look at it. That's the alignment with joy. So I always say that if there's anything you want to happen, stop what you're doing and go play and go have fun.
Get into that joy, whatever the joy is for you. If the joy for you is scrubbing your bathtub, go do that.
Yeah.
The joy for you is hugging a tree, go do that.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're going to scrub your bathtub, you know, do it when it brings you joy.
Yes.
You know, I mean, or hire it done.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, you know, and the joy, maybe you're doing joy and stuff comes. I'm laughing because an acquaintance, she's like, I'm cocking the bathtub, and the best client I've ever had, you know, buys the $8,000, you know, offer because I'm out in the bathtub. I'm not out there doing something and pushing. And when you do something from being, so you will get, this will support you in being. That is, I mean, and that's where we're all efforting to go, which is right here, by the way. There's nowhere to go to be. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
That is there. Thank you
so much. I mean, we could probably talk forever because you're thank you so much. So I will post that stuff down there. You guys feel free to watch this. I'm sorry it went long, but you know, we're in the flow and we're just talking and we're just sharing and having conversation about possibility. And I really hope that you guys take advantage of this offer, because I really did the ask for you guys, because I want us all to like travel through this time, this gauntlet of growth with ease and grace. And for that price, we can do it. We can all do it. So pick 1, 2, 3, or all 4. And hopefully I will see you guys next Tuesday night. And then you can experience Jade and all the magic that she is really like creating. How can I say this? It just feels like in alignment, and it's the whole transcendence that she's talking about is like a real thing. And I feel like there's like a lot of work we have to do as spiritual people. We're like, okay, we got to clear this and we got to make this happen. And this didn't feel like that at all. Like it was, we were done, and I was like, and we're here, we're done. There we go. And I love that. Like, I'm about like practical, like get in, get out. Like, I don't have a lot of time. I got a lot of things going on. So if you have that same experience and you want in and out and experience, then come visit us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zan. I look forward to seeing some of your tribe and my tribe right in the bottom. Let them know what you've experienced, and let's just make a huge difference in the world by being ourselves.
Yay.
Okay?
Perfect.
All right. Mahalo. Big hugs.